Hi, good afternoon. Today is the 23rd of September. I would like to read in Proverbs chapter 15, verse 21. Folly brings joy to one who has no sense, but whoever has understanding keeps a straight course. A person who has got understanding, God's wisdom, will walk in righteousness. But a person who has got no sense will find joy in the fact that he has got no sense. We've seen that we've got three enemies: this sin, death, and the devil, also called Satan, the enemy. So that because we've got all these enemies, we have to be, let's see what Paul and Peter are going to say about it. Teach the older men to be temperate, worthy of respect, self-controlled, and sound in faith, in love, and endurance. That's Titus chapter 2, verse 2. And then Titus chapter 2, verse 6. Encourage the young men to be self-controlled. So both texts talk about being self-controlled. And other people here, like the women, will have to be self-controlled as well, pure and busy at home. So men, women, and young men will have to be self-controlled. That's the teaching that Paul is giving to Titus to teach the church where Titus was a pastor. What is Peter going to say about it? And Peter's got lots to say about it in 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 13. Therefore, with minds that are alert and fully sober, set your hope on the grace to be brought to you when Jesus Christ is revealed at his coming. So the revelation of Jesus Christ will give hope, and that hope you'll find in God's grace. The fact that he is gracious, you cannot walk in righteousness unless you accept God's grace. And then you are going to be fully sober, he says here. Not just sober, but fully sober. Because you have set your hope on the grace of Christ. That's going to help us to face the difficult times that will certainly come, and they might have come already for you. 1 Peter also, chapter 4, verse 7 says, the end of all things is near. Therefore, be alert and of sober mind so that you may pray. Because if you are not sober, you are not going to pray. You know that if you're going to run a marathon, you have to prepare yourself. You're not going to drink whatever you want to drink. You cannot eat whatever you used to eat. You have to practice. Your body has to be prepared. Here, in order to be ready to pray, we have to be alert and of sober mind. We are going to find the same word in other texts. In 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8, be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. We talked about this lion that is always there trying to devour you. So you need to be sober. But if you don't trust in God's grace, if you don't put your faith in your hope in God's grace, you cannot be sober. Because you cannot do anything against this enemy. You need Jesus in you. So you have to put all your hope in him. Set your hope on him and be alert all the time. Without Jesus, you can neither be sober nor be alert. You need him to do that for you. So trust in Jesus, put your hope in him, and ask him to help you to be sober. Otherwise you are going to fall, and you're going to be like that person in Proverbs chapter 15, verse 21, who finds his joy in not being sober. Find his joy in what is wrong. The wages of sin is death. Let us never forget that. God bless you.